Falling in Pakistan, grounding rescue helicopters and setting back the relief operation. The UN says up to 3 million people have been affected by the severe flooding in the country. The worst affected area is the northwest frontier province, along with the province of Punjab, both of which are expecting more rain over the next few days. The flood waters are now moving south along the Indus River into Sindh province. Well, there are serious concerns about the spread of disease, especially in Nowshera, where hundreds of dead animals are lying on the ground. And from there, Ali Makboul reports.
All the time they're finding more places that have been devastated by the floods. All the time the human toll keeps mounting. Those who've survived the deadliest rains in living memory here are sheltering anywhere they can. Schools that are still standing have turned into makeshift relief camps, but people have come here with nothing, and their needs are huge.
The government has not made good arrangements for those affected. Here we don't have food, we're bundled up in these small rooms. 5 to 6 families are living in one room. There is hardly any space to sleep.
Some aid is being distributed, but with well over 3 million people affected, many of whom are now totally dependent on charity, there are vast numbers that aren't being reached. And here, as in areas right across the flood-affected belt, serious concerns about the spread of disease are rising.
There are animals that have been lying dead for 3 or 4 days. The smell's terrible. We're trying to keep our children away.
The army says the priority is still to get to those it hasn't yet reached at all. The biggest threat, though, remains the weather. Well, just as the army says it was starting to make headway in its relief operations, the thing that nobody wanted has happened. More rain has come, torrential monsoon downpours, and people are worried, of course, that rivers will burst their banks again. But what it has already meant is a suspension of those crucial helicopter flights that were getting aid to the many thousands of people who are still stranded. It just adds to the misery of exhausted victims who've already been through so much. Even when the showers stop, there's the fear of what could happen when they return. These people are fleeing after hearing a dam near the city of Peshawar is on the verge of bursting. Nobody here believes the crisis is easing. They're looking to their leaders and the international community to help them get through what are likely to be more desperate times ahead. Ali Makboul, BBC News, in Nowshera in northwest Pakistan.
Well, let's get more on this. Jeremy Loveless is the Deputy Humanitarian Director for Oxfam. He's in our Oxford studio. Thank you so much for talking to us. In a situation so desperate, how do you prioritise what you do first and who you help first?
The main priority, as your report said, is for sanitation, clean water to try to avoid disease. So we are already working in some of these areas. That's the priority for us. Get into these communities that we've already been working with and try to give them clean water and a way to clear excreta. That's the priority right now.
And what are the main problems that you're facing? Because, of course, we're hearing of more rain. It must be so difficult for your team.
It is. It's a logistical nightmare. Roads and bridges have been washed away. It's already a very inaccessible area. Much of this part of the country is mountainous, so we're taking a very difficult logistical area, and it's even worse with the rain. That's our biggest problem.
Are you getting much government support?
From the government of Pakistan, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, we're working closely with them. They've got a big problem on their hands as well, so we have to be sympathetic to that. So we, the government will be leading the coordination effort, and we will try to cooperate with them and with other agencies.
And what happens to the people? Many of which left with absolutely nothing. How are they being looked after?
Well, many of them haven't got much help yet, and that's not surprising given the massive area this is covering. Where help is getting through, as I say, we are bringing clean water in by tanker. We're also rehabilitating water supplies. Other agencies are doing similar things through providing emergency shelter and so on. But at this stage of the emergency, when it's just a few days since the disaster began, we have to face it. There's a lot of people who are not receiving help yet. Hopefully that will improve in the coming days.
And what concerns do you have over security in the area?
It is a concern. This area has been the scene of fighting over months gone by, so there is a definite concern there. We monitor the situation very carefully. We have good local partners there we work with. So far, so good, but we have to be very careful.
OK, Jeremy Loveless from Oxfam, thank you.
David Cameron has been defending the coalition government